Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you're having an amazing day. This is going to be my last upload for today because I had to take a pause and deal with some online trolls, which probably have something to do with this mysterious race I'm going to delve into. But I'm going to start putting up movies for you guys too because I was just going to upload the movie, but I didn't want it to be out of context, and I'm going to put up awesome movies that depict, because they hide the truth in the media in a lot of these movies and they claim it's fiction, quote unquote. But a lot of these so-called world leaders, they're dealing with their own type of religion and secret society, and other so-called masters. So I found it very interesting. An article, I know people are going to say, oh, it's sensationalized, it can't be. But listen, it would explain the state of this world and why people act the way they do, and like they seem like they're so like hive mind, right? And I was talking a lot about gang stalking and stuff, so don't tell me this is not possible. It is so possible. Definitely dealing with the hidden hands over here, the powers you don't see. So Hitler posing with one hand, you see that? Gods with one hand. So he was really big into the Thule society, and a lot of these practitioners, it trickles all the way down to Aleister Crowley. And there was even a song, right, Mr. Crowley? And he was on the Beatles album, right, guys? Was it the Submarine album? He was one of the characters, and he was known as one of the most wicked men alive, or dubbed the Beast. So these are just really interesting images. I'm going to read an article and I'm going to upload for you guys ad free. I don't run ads on my channel. Some movies, and of course the classic Invasion of Mars, or Invaders of Mars, I believe. That's a 1953 classic, right after the so-called World Wars, which I keep thinking and saying to people, what kind of world wars was it? Or wars of other worlds? They could have been dealing with interdimensional entities, and we have a rise of technology, right? It went from such a simple little house on the prairie type of existence in America. Remember those shows? Some of us are old and young enough to still remember this stuff. To everything hyper high tech, and people want to think, oh, it's just for man. Man already has proven he could not do that on his own. Like I said, deals have been made. I've been trying to teach people that, like, obviously, that's probably why people are going missing every day, and then they act like they don't know what the hell's going on. So you got this Tiwaz rune, which represents Norse god Tyr, which is right here, so that's interesting. Ancient Egyptian god Sekhmet, ancient Greek god Hades. That's why when you go into a lot of these militaries now, it's like, what side are they really fighting on? Makes you think, because, like I said, with those movies, it was making me think of this instance and this article, and there's books on it, guys. If you haven't seen all the weird pictures of some of these soldiers and entities, and there's a book that's called UFO Secrets of the Third Reich, or video rather, but there are books on this topic too. People have done the research. If you haven't seen these type of photos, look at this photo, guys. This has been circulating. How many people watch American Dad with Roger? How many times do they got to say the same crap? So, when you see movies like They Live, We Sleep, and you're like, how are these politicians? Everyone wants to be like, they're so incompetent. They're so incompetent. Well, are they just playing stupid, or are they just freaking mind controlled? Are they, really calling the shots? Then you see this, guys. It's just one after the other. I don't even know what I'm going to use as my thumbnail, because there was this one, and people are going to be like, oh, that looks so fake. This picture was making me think of the invasion of Mars, or the invaders of Mars, which shows like this interplanetary species that comes here and wants to control mankind and have mankind do their bidding. And at the end, it's kind of open ended, like, was it real, wasn't out, but like, they said so much historical references in that movie, so I will upload it for you. That's why I wanted to make this disclaimer prior, so you guys know, like, oh, she's uploading movies now. Because if I see a movie, especially the classics, yeah, some of them are a little cheesy how they do their effects, but so what? You get the point. They don't got to show you so much, and maybe in real life it's not as gory and as whatever. Maybe the older ones are more accurate to what it really is, And a lot of movies on this topic, and then you see how a lot of these so-called world leaders did doing things that are harmful for mankind and the earth, as if they're taking orders from whoever. So I'll put this article. Look at this spaceship with the symbol. I mean, you want to say that's fake, that's on you. There's enough out there. Some people believe the Nazis used alien technology to build futuristic aircraft. So the timeline is perfect with that movie, too. And the reason that movie stuck out to me, believe it or not, if you guys ever read the Dirty Daddy book from Bob Saget, he literally had an in-depth description of his father without glasses on, saying he looked like an entity from the invader of Mars. And, he had ties, on the higher echelons and stuff. So I'm like, what more do you freaking need? It does it, that explains his behavior in recent news and everything else. So this says, you can mock at the source or whatever. I don't care. The fact that it's out there, it's been out there. These societies do exist, and a lot of people in Hollywood are members of these, okay? And top scientists and whatnot. Adolf Hitler and Nazis were in touch with aliens. Mm. Adolf Hitler's fascist political party emerged from a shadowy group called the Thule Society. The secret society gave the Nazis the swastika symbol, its delusions about the so-called Aryan master race, and its hatred of Jewish people. It prophesied a German Messiah was coming to redeem the country after its humiliation in World War I. But conspiracy theories claim that the group's inner circle was also looking for mythical alien super beings and the fabled energy source they controlled. That picture. Unbelievable. Actually, it is believable to me because it just makes all the sense. It explains more than the current reality. And it's all about genetic, why they're so obsessed with gaining people's DNA. And that movie that I'm going to put up after this is going to show you like how they had implant technology, how they can control people. And now they can probably put these nanotechnologies into hypodermic needles, so that's something to consider. And a lot of these maybe medical procedures, you need to second guess it. So just something to think about, okay? A lot of things happened during these world wars, and there's been a lot of rumors, let's just say. So the Thule Society sponsored the founding of the Nazi Party, and many of its members went on to become prominent Nazis, including Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess. Hess, you think of like the gas station Hess. It was named after Ultima Thule, a country in northern Europe found in ancient Greek and Roman mythology. The German study group believed the lost ancient landmass somewhere in the Atlantic near Greenland or Iceland was the original home of the Aryan race. The Thule Society was interested in so-called racial theory, and in particular in combating Jews and communists, who probably they deem communists. Really interesting, because sometimes they label other groups what they are, right? New followers had to swear no Jewish or colored blood, so there is an attack on a certain line. Makes you think of the Genesis story of the serpent seed against the woman's seed. What is that, Genesis 3? So, had to swear no Jewish or colored blood flowed in their veins, but the group allegedly had a much, much stranger set of beliefs. This is an artist's impression of a Vril Ya called Z. So these are the entities. Ooh, these are like so-called fallen entities, maybe giving them information. We have talked about fallen angels as well. They can appear, just like the Bible says, as an angel of light, these entities. They could be hideous and appear beautiful, so definitely be careful out there. Researchers claim senior members of the Thule Society believed a master race of alien beings were living in underground caverns right here on Earth. This subterranean society, called the Vril Ya, was said to have developed futuristic technology far beyond the reach of humans, including a liquid energy source known as Vril. Vril could power machines and heal living creatures, but it also had awesome destructive power, such that a couple of Vril Ya could easily wipe out an entire city. Writers have claimed Nazi mystics were looking for the Vril Ya, and some conspiracy theorists believe they have found them. Look at that picture, though. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. I'm sure some people are going to say, oh, even that's fake. Some people, you can show them all the proof in the world and they still don't want to believe. This makes all the sense of the rise of technology during that era and from before and after. Hitler's advanced and bizarre military technology from Nazi Germany. So I'll put this link for you. The idea of Vril came from a 19th century book called The Coming Race. The book was very popular, and the idea of Vril became well known and filtered in everyday language as a word to refer to any revitalizing liquid. In fact, the brand name of the meat extract Boar Vril is a blend of bovine, cow, and Vril, as its makers wanted to suggest it was a power elixir. So that's something to think about when you're buying your conventional brands, guys. That's why I'm really pushing on like simple natural products. That I have an eBay store and I do that. I'll put the link below as well. But you see, this is how you can get like power over people. If anyone's hip to witchcraft, all you got to do is put certain fluids in the food. You hear like crazy stories all the time, movies, you name it, novels. The common race was meant to be fiction, but some people started to believe Vril and the subterranean master race who controlled it were real. Look at that nonsense. A lot of, it says, bet you never knew it's linked to the Nazi. Yeah, how many companies and how many, especially with craft, cheese, and everything else. The Theosophists, a group of New Age mystics linked to Mahatma Gandhi, were among those who believed in the power of Vril. In the early 20th century, Germany was buzzing with the occult, mysticism, and pseudoscience. Willy Ley, a German rocket engineer who fled to the U.S. just before the start of World War II, revealed there was a secret society in Berlin looking for a mythical energy source called Vril. Ley, who went on to become a famous science writer and even has a crater on the moon named after him, said the group, which I think called itself the Society for Truth, and which was more or less localized in Berlin, devoted its spare time looking for Vril. British historian Nicholas Goodrick Clark, who was professor of Western esoterism at University of Exeter, also reports of a Berlin-based group that was studying uses of Vril in the 1930s. In their 1960 book, The Morning of the Magicians, French writers Louis Pauwels and Jacques Bourgier claimed a group called the Vril Society was operating in pre-Nazi Berlin, and its members were the inner circle of the Thule Society. Look at that hat, huh? Skull and Bones, Yale University. Look at those Harry Potter glasses. Heinrich Himmler was obsessed with the occult. This is easy to believe as the Thule Society and senior Nazis were obsessed with the occult. Heinrich Himmler, head of the Gestapo during the Holocaust, was obsessed with the supernatural and believed magic held the key to Aryan supremacy in the world. Hitler seized the so-called Spear of Destiny, a relic believed to be the lance used to pierce Jesus Christ's side when he was on the cross, from Vienna when Germany annexed Austria in 1938. The Führer is also said to have sent out search parties to find the Holy Grail, believing it could help the Nazis achieve world domination. Black Camelot. Himmler wanted to set Wolfsburg Castle as a base for witchcraft. Hitler's mentor, Dietrich Eckart, is thought to have been a Thule Society member or at least linked to the group. Historian Hannah Newman claims Eckart followed the ideas of Helena Blavatsky, one of the founders of Theosophy. Newman said Eckart introduced Hitler to Blavatsky's book, The Secret Doctrine of Theosophy, in which Blavatsky claims Vril is based on a real magical force. Some have suggested Hitler's powerful personal magnetism was down to black magic or communion with the Vril Ya. Winston Churchill said Hitler had conjured up the fearful idol of an all-devouring pagan god, Moloch, of which he was the priest and incarnation. Guys, a lot of people have already exposed Moloch and also Batman. It's all the same incarnation. We're teaching our children to love these child sacrificing entities that the Most High had nothing to do with. The Most High don't want you sacrificing your babies, but in the society, that's what they'll have us do, the damn bull. Unbelievable. So he was all about that Moloch worship. Eckart, who was convinced Hitler was the prophesied Great One, wrote, "Follow Hitler. He will dance, but it is I who have called the tune. We have given him the means of communication with them," quote unquote. Theosophist, that's her on the right, the witch, Helena Blavatsky, who was respected by Gandhi, and everyone thinks that's such a righteous person, so it's really very important to delve into people's past, and then when you see certain movies, you'll see, was it really so, non-believable? Nazi Germany was developing a mysterious range of futuristic aircraft toward the end of World War II, which looked suspiciously like UFOs. UFO hunters have suggested that Nazi flying saucers were fueled by Vril or other extraterrestrial technology. Former SS officer William Langdon, who founded the so-called Vienna Group of occultists after the war, claimed Nazi scientists have continued to work on the Nazi UFOs at secret underground bases under the polar ice caps. Conspiracy theorists suggest that the Nazis may have uncovered the Vril Ya subterranean home detailed in the coming race. Another group from Vienna, the Tempelhof-Gesellschaft, claims information from ancient Sumerian manuscripts suggests the Aryan race are really aliens from Aldebaran, the brightest star in the zodiac constellation of Taurus. Very, very interesting. And there's a lot of books, because if you heard of, Hitler's association with Antarctic, and how they were fighting so-called interdimensional, and there's all kind of fantastical stories about this topic. So I'll put this for you guys. Look at this. Be careful out there with your conventional crap. I'm trying to make this as serious as possible, guys, because it's a really crazy topic. But when you see people not acting right in our society, they're not all who you think they are just because they have a human form. They're already here. This is a spiritual war. It's a battle every day. So when you feel these, creepy feelings up and down your spine, yeah. The other day, guys, it was nuts. I had a mouse trap. Nothing was even near it, and something set it off. I'm like, what the heck just floated on by? I mean, it goes to show there's things that you don't see, and they've been allowing. Everyone knows what happened with CERN. I can put up their weird promo, how they did like some weird dance of destruction to Kali. Like, how is that so scientific? Engineers were doing that at the Hadron Atom Collider, the particle collider, right? In CERN, which was at Switzerland. So there are many of those colliders, and they're opening up portals. You have all of these people who still make their magic circles and everything else, and they're really into that. So that's where, like, religious tolerance can be very dangerous. When they do this stuff, they're bringing it in, and the rest of us got to deal with it. So just these pictures, it's very, very interesting. You could really, really go into it. But they do genetic experiments all the time. They found bodies of so-called aliens, or they have found bodies like that, and they hide them, and they suppress this information. Everybody knows about Area 51. They're all talking about that, and of course they totally forgot about it. But believe me, with your Joe Bidens and all that pushing these agendas, where are they getting their information from? Because it shows you right there that, I don't care if you think that's an outfit. I mean, that could be really real to me. How would you tell? I mean, look at those long fingers and all that stuff. I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess everything's fake now, right? Just the news, because that's all people want to believe is the damn news. All right, just believe their spiel. But this does answer so many questions, and I'll put up the video of invaders from Mars, because once you see that and you read articles like this, you're like, all right, you can see how they definitely uh, copy in the movies what's going on in real life. So when people think everything's so fake, I mean, they're pretty much showing us a lot. But we just, blindly think, oh, this is just too much. It's just too much, and I totally understand that. It can be, but, we want to expose it. And I definitely wanted to show this topic because I got derailed earlier, and I appreciate any new viewers. Thank you so much. I deal with holistic topics, independent news, how to take care of yourself with natural medicine, try to keep back to God's original laws, and try to go back, to some common sense, because this generation, man, I guess it's just too artificial for me, guys. I just, some of us are having a hard time, and we do this because we want to teach others, and I like saving the references. I also do this for myself, believe it or not, because that way I have an archive of all my links, and that way, even with this article, I don't have ink right now, and I'm like, I don't want to lose this. This is like really good. I'm going to take notes down to all these different groups. And a lot of those names pop up today, and a lot of these, corporations and stuff, like that name Hess, like the Hess gas station. People think, oh, that's not a descendant. Yeah, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Well, thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys soon. And stay tuned for that free movie I will upload for you guys. No ads, and I hope that the viewing experience is a little better, because I don't run ads on my channels, because that really does interrupt the viewing experience. I don't appreciate that, so I won't be running ads. So have a great day, guys. Thank you.